on the verge of leaving my boyfriend so I can further my career, but I just feel so lost and confused. I, 24F, have been with my boyfriend, 25M, for 3.5 years now. We met in my home country and lived there together for 2 years, and then around a year ago we moved to the country he grew up in. It has always been his dream to come back here, settle into a stable job, and save for a house and kids. Before meeting him, this country was never on my radar, and I had never thought about coming here. I actually studied languages at university, but the languages I studied are very different to the ones spoken here, and I had always thought that I would end up in a country where they speak one of the languages I studied. However, I was feeling burnout and disillusioned about going there after I graduated from university. My bachelor's degree was unusually long, and I decided that it would be a fun challenge and a new adventure to come here with him, and I loved him so much that I was really willing to try and adopt his dream as my own. Don't get me wrong, this is a really great country. The people are lovely, the weather and food are lovely, and the quality of life here is generally quite good. It is definitely a great place to raise children. However, the problem is that I've been really struggling to find a job here. In the first place, it took me ages to even get my residency and permission to work here. This is an EU country and I am not an EU citizen, so we had to enter into a kind of civil partnership to get me permission to stay, and I have been working remote jobs that are less than ideal since I came here. Financially speaking, I am basically becoming more and more dependent on my boyfriend, who has a stable job with a higher than average income. Now, I do have the right to work here, but I work in a very niche field and it's very difficult for me to find work. One of the companies I was working for online also recently just went out of business, so I'm in a bit of a desperate situation, but the job market is looking very bleak. Before this, I had always been a very career-oriented person and had a very clear idea of what I wanted to do. But now I can feel my drive and my ambition slipping away, and I'm starting to feel like a shell of myself. The reality that I can never get the career I want, and I can never land my dream job if I stay here has really started to set in. I love my boyfriend very much and we have a nice life here, but I don't think any of it is enough for me if I can't have my career. In my home country, there are lots of job opportunities for me. I have applied to some jobs back there and have already gotten some interviews. There are also options for further study which could take me to one of the countries I originally wanted to go to and help me land my very specific dream job. If I stay here, I will have none of those opportunities. After holding these feelings in for months on end, I finally voiced my concerns to my boyfriend, and we have been talking about it constantly for the past month. He does not hold it against me because he always said that one of the things that attracted him to me was my ambition, and he doesn't want to be the one holding me back from achieving my true potential. I told him that I really desperately wanted to make his dream my dream, but the truth is I've been lying to myself for months, and this just isn't what I want. I don't think I really am ready to make settling down and laying down the foundations for a family my #1 priority. I want to focus on career progression, feel like I'm achieving something and travel the world more before I get to that stage. I feel like it's not fair for me to stay clinging on to my boyfriend when I already know that I most likely can't commit to the future he's dreaming of. He says that he never wants to leave this country no matter what, and that's not something he's willing to compromise on. He hates my home country with a passion and never wants to go back there. He also doesn't want to go to the third country I want to go to because he doesn't speak the language, and he finds learning new languages particularly hard. He has admitted that he knows that by wanting me to stay here with him, he would be asking me to give up my dreams, and that is something that he wouldn't be willing to do for me. Some people around me are saying that hearing that should have been like a bucket of cold water, but despite everything I still want to cling to him so badly. I'm really struggling to let him go. If it wasn't for our different priorities for the future, there would be no problems in our relationship. He is communicative, sensitive, caring, supportive, fun. Basically everything you could ever wish for in a partner. Ever since I met him, I have imagined him being my husband and father of my children. However, I do know that this huge fundamental difference between our priorities and hopes and dreams is always going to be driving a wedge between us. I love him to pieces now, but I also feel a tiny flicker of resentment towards him for being so hard-lined on his stance of wanting to stay here. I can't promise that over time, this tiny flicker of resentment won't turn into something bigger if I were to decide to stay here and fully give in to working towards making his dream my own dream. I just worry that he's always going to be the one that got away, and that I'm never going to get over him. I know that we're still young, and I could just be blinded by the intensity of my feelings towards my first serious relationship, but right now I don't know how I could move on from this. I know that on paper it's clearly the right decision for me to leave and do what's best for my career and my long-term future, but I'm still desperately trying to think of ways that we can both be happy and somehow stay together. My mind is changing every single day. I am second-guessing myself constantly and overthinking just about anything. He wants me to give him a clear answer and decide to leave by the end of this month, but I don't think I'll have a clear answer either way. I'm torn between taking a leap of faith for my own personal growth and just fully making this relationship my priority and forgetting about everything else.